Visualization, what is it and how can it help you? Let's talk about that. Hey guys, and welcome back to Tipharot. In this episode I'm going to talk a bit about visualization and how I've used it to help me in my life. So if you've read my ebook, you'll know I talk about visualization in there. I'll put a link to it up there if you want to check it out. And in the ebook, I basically go through a 4-step process that involves visualization and certain other techniques to kind of ensure that you can enact a change in your life. Now, in this video, I'm just going to talk about the visualization part and why it's very useful, no matter how you apply it, even if you don't use the other techniques, it's very useful in of itself. And I want to give you guys that because, I think it will benefit most people's lives to know this. So, visualization is essentially the act of using your imagination. That's all it is. When someone says to visualize something, you don't necessarily have to see it, but you have to imagine it. So when someone says, imagine yourself standing in a garden, what you're doing when you actually imagine it is visualization. That's visualization in essence. It's imagination. So what I'm talking about here is using your imagination as a creative tool. Now, it can be used in 2 ways like this. Well, it can be used in multiple ways, but mainly 2. These 2 ways are problem solving, where you essentially task yourself with a particular problem that you want to resolve. Say you want to create a new product. Now what you do is you take what you already have and you visualize the situation. You put it into your imagination. Say you've got a product that you want to improve. You see the product in your head and you look at it and you spin it around in your head. You look at it from every angle. And then you just let go. You let the image do what it likes. And you know how when you imagine something in your mind's eye, and after a certain time it starts to take on a life of its own, it starts to do things. So you'll notice this, your product will suddenly start to do things, it'll start to look a bit different, and new aspects will come to the side of it, and on it, and in it, and some of these will be useless. You'll suddenly see, a dragon flying past or something like that, and that's not going to help you with your product necessarily. But some of these things will be helpful because they're so seemingly obscure and unrelated that they can spark new ideas and new creativity. So this is a very useful part of the creative process, and people like Nikola Tesla and that used this when they were designing their products and when they were designing their inventions. They would visualize, they would use their imagination to see their product, and then using that imagination to spark new creativity, they could see how they could improve it, how they could, take their invention to the next step, or how they could solve a particular problem. So that's one use for visualization. The other type of visualization is where you are visualizing something that you want to manifest in your life. Now, to those of you who are on board with the more metaphysical side of things, with perhaps the occult or anything like that, or perhaps you pray or whatever it is, if you're on board with that side, then you can kind of get on board immediately with the idea of being able to visualize and manifest like that. If you're not on board with that, then I'm going to explain why this is useful from a grounded, scientific standpoint. Okay, so I want you to try a little experiment right now. I've got this experiment in my book, and I don't particularly have much room in the place that I'm recording at the minute, so I'm not going to do this experiment out in front of you standing up. I'm just going to show you what it would look like from my sitting down perspective, and then you're going to do it standing up. Okay, so I want you to stand up, and while you're standing there, stretch your arms out in front of you, as far as I go. Now, when you get your arms out, stretched out, what I want you to do, make sure your feet are set firmly on the floor. Don't move your feet. Try to move your hips as little as possible. Just mainly focus on moving your arms. Now I want you to spin your arms all the way around as far as you can. Just keep going as far as you can. Now I can't move them very far because I'm sitting down. You'll probably be able to get them further than me. Try and go as far as you can. So long as it's not hurting you. Don't break your back trying to do this. But try and turn around as far as you can with your arms. Now when you get as far as you can go, as far as you can comfortably go, I want you to look at the position on the wall. Look at where your arms are pointing. Now make a note of that. Make a mental note of that. Now move your arms all the way back so you're facing forward again. Now that you're facing forward again, I want you to close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, I want you to reimagine what you just did. So imagine yourself standing there and imagine yourself with your arms outstretched, turning them all the way around as far as you can. And when you imagine that, don't actually do it, just do it in your head. Imagine it, but imagine that you're turning further this time and that you can feel yourself turning all the way around, 360 degrees all the way around back to the front again. And then repeat that 3 or 4 times. Repeat that 3 or 4 times with your eyes closed. Try that now. Pause the video. Try that now. And then after you've unpaused, what I want you to do after you've unpaused is now to try the actual motion again. So arms outstretched, turn all the way to the side again, and keep going around as far as you can go, as far as you can comfortably go. Now look at the position on the wall where you're pointing to now. See what you did there? You visualized something that you wanted to happen and it improved your results. Now, some of you are going to say, but you've just loosened up your muscles and it's just a matter of you loosening up your muscles. Well, that is part of it. Part of it is the fact that you've just done something a second time, you're going to do it better the second time. But you've actually gone further. And I've tested this. I've tested this without the visualization and with the visualization. And if you do it once, if you do it twice without the visualization, the second time you will go further. But you won't go as far as you go with visualization. You'll go, maybe a couple of inches further. Whereas with visualization, you can sometimes go, a couple of feet further. It's a big difference. And so why is this difference there? Well, scientists have discovered that when you're actually imagining doing something, they did this with people who were running, for example. They took runners and they measured what their brain was doing while they were running. Then they measured what their brain was doing while they were imagining running. Now, interestingly, their heart rate would spike and the same neurons would start to fire off in their brain when they were imagining running. So what they were actually doing was essentially, they were running just without the physical aspect of it. They weren't building any muscles or anything like that, but they were still building those same neural pathways in their brain that are done when they run. So they were essentially practicing the mental aspect of the task without practicing the physical aspect. So now going back to the task that we just did, you were essentially practicing the task again without doing it physically. But because you can practice more in your mind, because the thing is, when you practice something in the physical world, you can only practice as much as your muscles will allow, for example, or as much as your situation will allow. But in your imagination, you can practice anything. You can do things that you can't do in the real world. So, for example, in your imagination, you were able to spin 360 degrees around without snapping your back. And by doing that, it meant that you were able to practice with a higher level of skill than if you practiced just based on what your muscles were able to do. So you were able to accelerate your learning significantly in a short period of time. Now this goes for other forms of visualization as well, because say you want to manifest, a particular business opportunity into your life. Well, if you visualize yourself with that business opportunity already there, you're firing off the same neurons that will be fired off in a person who already has that success. And those neurons are, the way that our brain works is it works almost by location. Like if you think about something related to something, then the things that are located near it will be the things that are also related to that. So if you think about, birthday parties, then you're going to remember things from all the birthday parties you've been to in your life. You're going to remember those things much more clearly than other things at the time because you're thinking about birthday parties. So by having the mindset of being successful and being wealthy and all of these things, your brain is at a closer point to all the information it needs related to wealth, to success and all of that, and it can access that information much easier, it can access the opportunities much easier, and then it can find those opportunities for you to go out and make that an actual lasting change, so that it's not just a state of mind, but it becomes you. So this is why visualization is very powerful. You don't have to believe anything metaphysical about it. It's the way that our neurons work. They fire off the same when we imagine something as when we actually do the activity. Now they're not going to train your muscles, they're not going to make a wad of cash appear in front of you. What they're going to do is they're going to take you to that place mentally that you need to be in order to find the opportunities and to do the right things to get where you want to be. So now that we've talked a bit about visualization and why it's useful, how about I tell you how to do it for yourself. So what you need to do is you need to sit down in a quiet place and get rid of any distractions, turn off the TV, you can even turn off your computer unless you're using a guided tape or something like that. Just make sure you're somewhere quiet. You can turn off the lights if you like or dim them. sit down somewhere comfortably in some comfortable clothes, close your eyes, just relax, and let yourself focus on your breathing for a good 4 to 5 minutes. In other words, just meditate for a good 4 to 5 minutes. Now, if you're not used to meditation, all you have to do is just watch your breathing in and out. You don't have to worry about the not thinking part of meditation or any of that. Just focus on your breathing, watch your breath going in and out for 4 to 5 minutes, so you get nice and relaxed, really, really relaxed. Then, with your eyes still closed, imagine yourself as you are now. See yourself in your body, feel yourself moving around. This is another thing, is imagination isn't just a visual thing, it can be tactile. So for example, you can feel the sensation of touching something in your imagination. You can imagine what that would feel like, or you could feel what a smell would smell like, or all of this. And so get that, go in your imagination and imagine in all your senses for a little bit, just where you are now. Now imagine the thing that you want to have. Imagine it already being the case. Imagine that you already have whatever it is you want to have. You are already accomplishing your dream. So see yourself inside that. And don't just see yourself there, but feel it, Feel the sensation, if you want money, feel the sensation of the money in your hands. If you want a particular job, then maybe it's a computer job, so you feel yourself typing away at the keyboard and you see the computer that you're working at, and perhaps you hear your colleague saying something to you about the work that you're doing. Add in as many details as possible, make it as vivid and lively as possible, and really go into it over a period of 15 to 20 minutes. Completely absorb yourself in this, and imagine all the things that you would do when you've got this. So, if it's a new job, imagine, all the new opportunities it would allow for you. So perhaps you go on a vacation, or perhaps you go and see an old friend that lives across the country because you've now got the money to do that. Imagine these things and visualize those things as well, because those are the things that you'll be doing. So you're connecting all these neurons that would be there in the completed dream. And by doing this, you're making it easier to access the ones near to those, the ones that will bring you that dream. So at this point, once you've visualized all of these things, you now want to make sure that you feel it emotionally. And I go into more depth in this in my ebook. But basically, you want to feel what it would feel like to have that. So, if your dream is, to find love, you want to feel that love. You want to feel that inside you. Feel the joy that you would feel of, being with someone that loves you back. If your dream is, to go to a particular country, to see a particular place, imagine the sense of awe that you would feel when you saw that particular place for the first time. And really engage those feelings, because feelings set a deeper impression on the subconscious than just seeing something. And when you really feel that, when you can really engage that state of already having what it is that you want to have, then you've built up a circuit there, a little circuit in your brain that is already kind of partly there. You've set that first foot in that destination that you want to get to. And from now on, you just have to build a bridge between there and your current thoughts, your current state of mind. And that bridge will be built. Your subconscious will do that for you. It will naturally find the opportunities for you to get there, provided that you visualize regularly, set a conscious intention to make it happen, and you work towards that goal. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope you guys try out visualization. If you want to know more and you want to try it out in a more advanced way, then check out my ebook. And if you have any questions or that, then I'm happy to help out, so ask them in the comments. Perhaps share some tips that you have for visualizing, or perhaps share something that you visualized and manifested into your life recently. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want more content that's similar to this, then remember to subscribe up there, because we've got regular videos coming out every Wednesday and Saturday. And if you liked the video, you can give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. And if you want to keep watching, check out the video up there. Take care, guys.